Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to this week's broadcast of The Grove. Today, we are going to be discussing how to create an intention. By the way, thank you all for sticking around. We had a false start of the show earlier with no sound. You can tell I'm out of practice. It's been a few weeks since I've been my own producer, and I forgot to turn the microphone on. So I apologize for that. But let's go right ahead and get started. And why don't you join me as we do the invocation of the goddess? O great goddess, lady of the night and the silvery moon, she whom is the darkness and the light that shines through it. Hail to thee, great lady of the moon. Hear us, your children, as we ask of your divine presence here within our sacred circle of light, where we have come to partake of your great beauty, strength, and wisdom, and the beauty and wisdom within each and every one. Blessed be. So, as you know, I'd like to do a short reading from my book, The Book of One. And just a reminder that I am going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary of my first contact with the emissaries of light. One, they were the ones who wrote this book through me. They were the ones who literally changed my life and have been my guides ever since. So next week we will be doing a special celebrating that, and I will go more deeper into my work with them, and we'll go deeper actually into the Book of One. But for today, we are just going to read a short passage, and this is, in case you don't know, from my book called The Book of One. If you can see the cover, it's chapter 14, and it's called The Individual Path. And this is something I've had to relearn over these last several weeks, dealing with the issues that I was dealing with my best friend. And it's a great reminder that we are all on our own individual spiritual path. Do not judge others in their action. All persons know what is wrong or right for them. If they run into trouble, it was meant to be. The same if they achieve a great victory. For it is all in the way of one. Every day is a new lesson on life, and everyone must go to school. And with that said, why don't we take a moment to kind of ground ourselves and let's do our meditation. You're welcome to contemplate on the concept that we are all on our own individual path, no matter who it is, whether it's a friend, family member, a politician, a warmonger, whatever it may be, but everyone does have their own spiritual path. So let's take a moment, close our eyes, take a deep breath, and join me for this minute meditation. Welcome back. So, as I said earlier, today we are going to be talking about how to create an intention. Um, for me, I call it mind magic because it is me doing a spell or doing magic individually, solo. You can do it with a group. Um, and I can get into the anatomy of that a little bit more in just a moment. But before we do that, what I'd like to do is say hello to some of you. And let's see if there's anybody on the chat. Yes, there is. Hello, Jamie on YouTube. It's very nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Burning Spirit Light on YouTube. Good to see you. I'm just Luke Music on YouTube. Hello. Hi, Melissa on YouTube. Hello, Marianne on Facebook. So it's great to see you all. Thank you for being here. I okay, trying to get back to my my control panel here for the broadcast. Anyway, so intentions. So I came upon the concept of attention when I had a gentleman, an author, I forgot his name, he's a wonderful author, and he's the one that wrote that book, The Power of Attention, and he was on the book, and he was the author of the book. And I really dug what he said. I dug the I dug the premise of it, and for a while there, I was even doing weekly intention circles at uh, my Earth Spirit group. But having and having had a couple of years of practice with it, what I did was I incorporated some of those philosophies into my own magical spell work, whether it was with my actual coven or doing it as a solitary practitioner. And what I found was that everyone has their own way of doing it. And I think the most important thing for all of us to understand here is that if it works for you, it works for you. Again, today I am only sharing tips and tricks that I've picked up along the way. And quite honestly, I was looking for a kind of like a supplemental material that I could add to today's talk. So I found this wonderful article on how to set intentions at thezeroreport.com. So I want to give them credit because I'm getting some of the inspiration, at least for my talking points today, from them. But I agree with a lot of what they're saying here, and I will, of course, use my own interpretation of what I've read. So when we do intentions or spells or mind magic, which is the word I like to use now, um, with that, um, I believe it's important for us to identify a little more clearly and more detailed what the outcome is that we want to achieve. Many times, working with clients, working with covens and magical groups, people will want to do magic to feel better or to lose weight or to live a healthier life. Well, that can be a little too vague. And not only is it too vague for the universe, it's too vague for you because you're not giving yourself a clear definition of what it is you want. So if you do not have a clear definition of what it is you want, and I shouldn't even use the word want. Well, maybe, yeah, we'll use want here. Spiritually want, spiritually desire. Um, Without that clear definition, you are going to kind of like, confuse the universe and confuse yourself. For example, when I say, I want to live a happy life. If I were to tell you that, what would you think I meant by that? I want to be happy. Well, what does happiness look like to you versus what does happiness look like to me? So it's important that you get a little more detailed on what it is that you are trying, that you will manifest. And again, we'll talk about language in just a moment with your spell, your intention, whatnot. So it's important to identify the desire. Let's use the intention of, let's see, what did they use as an example here? Okay, so let's say you have the desire or the intention that you would like a new car. And I actually did this intention last year and it worked pretty darn quick for me. So, for an example, let's say it's the intention of getting a new car. Now, is it a new car for you or a brand new car off the lot? So again, you want to differentiate the two. Are you looking for a new car for you? And I'm just going to say a new car for me. Most of us can't afford a $35,000 car these days. Let's start with a new car for me. Let's say that's the intention. But in that intention, what does that make you feel like? I talked a little bit about this last week as far as emotion. In most magical seminars or, pagan, Wiccan, ceremonial magic, whatever it is, we always say that is the emotion behind the intention that's going to make that spell work. So, what is the emotion? What does having that new car feel like to you? Does it make you feel excited? Are you excited to have that new car? Are you feeling desperate to have that new car? And I don't know if desperate is an emotion, but let's say that your car broke down and you need transportation to get to work, to go pick up your kids from school and those kind of things. So having a car is a necessity. So there's this kind of like feeling of urgency is a better term than desperation. So feeling of urgency can be an emotion. So what is this feeling that you're tapping into? Remember, the universe does not judge emotion. The universe does not judge positive or negative emotion. It's all relative to the individual. Emotion is emotion is emotion. So even that sense of urgency, I need to get this car and I need it now, is drawing up the passion for it. Or it could be, oh, I'm looking forward to that new car and it's going to make me so happy. And I can feel myself being so happy driving this new car. So let's add the emotion behind the intention. So we identify the intention and then we identify the emotion or the desire, the emotion behind the desire. What's inspiring you? Um, okay. I'm sorry, I'm reading the notes now. Let me check the chat real quick in case somebody had a comment or a question for this here today. No? Okay, very good. So once we've identified the desire, once we identify the idea of what is the emotion behind the desire, then we want to put it into words. Now, this is your incantation, for lack of a better term. This is your vocalizing of the spell. One of the biggest mistakes that many people make when it comes to this type of mind magic and intention work is that they say, I want a new car. I would like a new car next month. I need a new car to get to work. That does not kind of match with the emotional aspect of it. There's not an emotional alignment to that. It's very important that you look at it in the present tense. I am so happy in my new car. I feel relieved I have my new car. So I am is the way we start those chants or spells for me. But I highly recommend it. Approach it from the sense of I am grateful to have my new car. I am relieved to have my new car. I am so happy and excited to feel, to feel myself in this new car. And again, we're just using it as an example. This could be put into many different into anything. And so, and remember, one of the things, and again with that language, is we have to remember that magic and intentions are not goals. You're not setting a goal to have a car in the future. So using that terminology of, I would like to have a new car next month. You're creating a goal. Goals and intentions are very different. Goals are static and they're long term. Yes, I have a goal to buy a house in the next 5 years, but that's not right now. There are things that need to be taken care of now for me to get there and steps that need to be taken. So when you're doing your intention, please remember it's not a goal. Remember that you are focusing on the I am aspect and allowing that to be fed through your emotion. As well, we want to see some of the qualities, or we want to ask ourselves some of the qualities that are needed for you to get the new car, for lack of a better term. I have the money to buy the car. So what are the things needed? Don't throw, the universe is not a lottery or a slot machine or anything like that. You have to be realistic. Magic works. It is a science. It's not a fantasy. I know people call it fantasy and some people don't believe it. But for those of us that have been working it for 30, 40 years, like myself, we know that there are certain steps that need to be taken. So let's say your intention is, I have my new car. Well, I am grateful I have the money to have my new car. I am grateful I have the job to buy my new car. I am grateful that I have the drive to work harder to make the money for my new car. So add that as far as how you are formulating your intention. Add that into your formula, so to speak. And then we have to decide what are some of the specific action steps. Now, intentions are not one size fits all. Again, everything could be different for different people. And for me, I like to, and the steps that I've been working with you and teaching y'all during these broadcasts is that we formulate the intention, we formulate the emotion behind the intention, we allow ourselves to go into a meditative state, and then we begin to visualize it, to visualize the phrase that we use. Again, I'm just going to use the phrase, I have the money for my new car. So you feel yourself, with the money in your hand to buy that new car. You visualize yourself how excited you are. You visualize how relieved you are if it was from the point of urgent and your car broke down or blew up and you need a new one. So we use that as the spell to alter your state of consciousness. I am so happy I have my new car. I'm so happy I have my new car. I am so happy I have my new car. And that is what alters our state of consciousness, changes the vibration of the thoughts and the thought form that you are creating in your mind. So you create the thought form in your mind, repeating this as your mantra or your spell magical phrase that you'd like to use. And we keep doing that until we raise the energy. We raise the energy until we can feel it. Once we feel it, I always add And now I am grateful. I feel the gratitude of driving home in my car. I feel that gratitude that it's been complete. I feel the relief that it's complete and I have it. So it's important to add the gratitude to it. I usually say, so mote it be. I'll usually do an om. I mean, I change it up depending on what mood I'm in. And especially with you guys, every week I will kind of change it up a little bit. But either way, something to say that the intention has been released and I'm turning it over to the universe as I will it, so mote it be. Let the universe handle it, because then comes the next step. And the next step is to reinforce it and to surrender to it. At this point, we want to reinforce it with our meditations and with our awareness. So when I say surrendering to it, surrender, the universe is allowing it to happen. And surrendering does not mean giving it up. Surrendering to me means removing any, how shall we say, limiting beliefs, removing any resistance to it. So, for example, let's say that you have this opportunity. Again, we're just going to use the car example. You have this opportunity to get a car on a really good deal, but it's from somebody you don't like, or it's in the next town over, or it's inconvenient for you to go see it because you just don't feel like driving 20 blocks to go check it out, or you don't have a ride to get there, so you don't want to be bothered asking a friend. So just remove all that resistance. Let yourself be open to how it can come to you. Allow the universe to send it to you in a way that you may not have imagined. But also, remember, it's not just going to appear in your life. You have to do some of the work. As well, surrendering and leaning into the faith of it means that I trust it's going to happen. And to also be aware of any, how shall we say, I want to say symbols or hints or whatnot that the universe is showing me. Like, let's say, for example, in my intention, I wanted a Mazda. Just for an example, all of a sudden I start seeing Mazdas driving everywhere. I'm like, ooh, that's a sign that the vibe is aligning. I'm aligning with that Mazda vibe. So that's something to be said. Anyway, so I think I kind of covered quite a bit, and probably all I really need to cover with all this, because I want us to do an intention now. Give me 1 second. What I'm going to ask you to do is I am going to let us do another 1 minute meditation. And what I'd like you to do is to take the steps. Maybe we'll do a 2 minute meditation. You might need that. Take the steps to think about what your intention for this week is. I know what mine is. And what I'd like you to do is to come up with what is the intention, what is the outcome, be a little bit specific, not too specific, but very specific. Identify the emotion behind it. Is it joy? Is it drive? Is it urgency? Is it a specific need? Is it a health need? But be specific in the emotion that you're feeling, and come up with the phrase, I am fill in the blank. I am fill in the blank. And we'll take it from there. So let's just take a moment to do that. I'm going to cut away for a minute or two and allow you to figure that out. I hope by now you have had the opportunity to think about what it is. So, what I'd like you to do now is to close your eyes with me. Let's think about what it is that we are desiring or needing in our life for this week. What is your intention? Specifically, what is your intention? What is the emotion that this intention, that is behind this intention? And what is the phrase you have chosen? I am fill in the blank. Continue taking a deep breath in through your nose. And in your mind or out loud, say, I am. Allow the image begin to form in your mind. The visualization of you in that scene with your completed intention. I am. I am. I am. And allow yourself to feel the gratitude, the relief of having it in your life. As we continue to repeat the I am, raising the energy. I am. I am. I am. And as I do will it, so mote it be. Blessed. So just let it go to the universe. Contemplate on it throughout your week, preferably after a meditation. And keep an eye out. The universe may and will start showing you little signs that it's coming, or you'll start noticing some synchronicities that are starting to align. And remember to give yourself permission to expect the unexpected and seeing it come into your life in a way perhaps you did not know coming. Anyway, everybody, let me see if there's a few of you that are still here, and I'd like to uh, yes, burning spirit light. I'd answer some of your questions. Yes, we are repeating. I am fill in the blank. I am with what we want. That is correct. Absolutely wonderful. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, y'all. Well, it is time for us to say goodbye for this week. I will see you next week. Please, by all means, know the universe has its own timeline. It's not your timeline, and that it's coming. It's coming in a way that you may not expect. Just a reminder, next week I will be celebrating my 30th anniversary with the Emissaries of Light, and I look forward to sharing a little bit more of the stories behind all of that and how the book was channeled and what I've learned from them over the last 30 years. That will be a special broadcast. The probably may not be following the Grove format, but maybe we'll do the intention at the end of next week's show too. So you might want to think of one. Anyway, thank you very much. Let's do our closing words. Be gone from me, worry and woe. I had the strength to break free and the wisdom to know. As I breathe in this sacred day, my calm will grow. I call upon my inner guides to help me take it slow. My serenity and tranquility will overflow with harm to none, blessings to all. Blessed be. Thank you, everyone, and I am looking forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye.